Welcome back, folks, to The Radical Moderate, where we explore the middle lane in a world of extremes. Today, what we want to do is we want to dive into the concept of information. What is it, where it comes from, and why it matters. By the way, if you are curious about this topic, James Glick's book, The Information, A History and a Theory, A Flood, is really a good book on the topic that goes really into a lot of depth in this area. The word information, however, comes from the Latin root informare. This means to shape or to kind of give form to. Originally, it referred to the act of literally shaping something, like a piece of clay or something, defining it or giving it structure. Over time, the word evolved to mean something closer to what we understand today. Information conveys meaning. It gives structure to our understanding of the world. And that's probably why it comes from the root informare, which is to shape, because much like a piece of clay, it shapes us. And here's the thing, it's really not neutral. Information shapes our perceptions, emotions, as well as our beliefs. So think of a child's brain, for example. It's shaped figuratively and actually literally with all those neuronal functions by the information that it absorbs from its environment during its growth and development. And that shaping really doesn't stop during childhood. It continues as an adult. Throughout our lives, information transforms raw data into meaning for us by adding context. Now, I call this information assimilation that we all go through since birth. I call this culture. This is really an important concept that will probably come back later on this channel to evaluate the role of information assimilation and the meaning of culture. Now, in science and also in computing, information has a different technical definition. For instance, information theory describes the meaning of the word information as something that is reducing uncertainty. Now, this kind of makes sense in some way, since quality information or intelligence, for example, helps us deal with our uncertainty. In computing, information is data arranged to convey a clear, purposeful message. The more precise the message, the better the information. But when we move into the realm of social media and news, things get even more complicated. We're really inundated with information from countless sources, news outlets, social media platforms, notifications, algorithms. These are the way we kind of get and consume our information. And here's the challenge: not all information is equal, and much of it isn't objective. Online information is often packaged to influence or manipulate us. A single headline can frame the same event in completely different ways, depending on the source or the intent. This framing shapes how we interpret the information at hand. So, what is the takeaway in all of this? Information isn't an objective transmission of facts. It's really shaped, and it shapes us in return. That means that we have the responsibility to think critically about the information we consume and how it influences us and the society at large. Information can inform or entertain us, and how much of each that we consume, whether it's forming education or entertainment, is going to really make a big difference on how we end up in life. If you want to dive deeper into the subject, I highly recommend two books. Now, we talked about James Glick's book here, but also the book Nexus by the historian Yuval Noah Harari, as well as obviously Sapiens, are two good books on the topic that I'll probably end up reviewing on this channel at some point as well. In the next video, we are going to talk and explore the darker side of information, topics such as misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, and what do they mean. Now, these terms are often misunderstood, but they're really crucial to navigating today's information landscape, and we're going to get into them next.